Hey guys, so today I'm gonna show you how we are actually using our own agents and how we hire the three employees, AI employees that does the stuff for us, right? And then after the demo for the agents themselves, I'm gonna go back to Oya and show you how you can create similar agents for you, for your company, and you can add whatever you think of. Okay. So that's the AWS in me. I'm an infra guy, so I always think about DevOps first. So now I have an agent. Let's say, oh yeah, how is my infra doing? So this agent has access to my cluster, my Kubernetes, has access to my Sentry. It basically runs every 15 minutes. It goes checks things, and every time I ask it for something, it goes run access all of them and give me the whole health recommendations and things to do, right? So for instance, when I asked it like 3 minutes ago, it found out that I have certificate problem that I need to fix because I was just changing domains. And also during my deployment, there were like some latency, etc. So now the answer came back. As you can see here, the infra in general is stable. There are like a Cloudflare problem that you need to fix. This is mainly because of the domains. The backend health is I have one of the gateways is going on and off. That was testing gateway that I deleted. I'm aware of it, etc. So I'm gonna say, is there anything critical on Sentry I should care about? So now it's gonna go to my Sentry and check all the issues, check across the front end, back end, and all the infrastructure, and if there is anything I should pay attention to. Okay, so it went to my Sentry, found that the gateway which was failing, and now I need to fix it. The RabbitMQ had some intermediate states. And this is actually something I need to look at. Okay. And there were like some of the queries that are reduced none, so I need to check what's going on there. Now, this is my DevOps agent. It runs in the background. It's always watching my infrastructure, give me hints, and always push messages if there is something going wrong. Like in the other workspace, we actually working with this agent a lot just to make sure that we're scaling nicely. The other agent that we have is the SDR. The SDR agent, we have an agent that basically goes find companies, ICPs for us to reach out to them. The way it works, every day it has a routine. Every day at 5 a.m. it wakes up and does a complete research through Apollo, Hunter, Web, and all that, and then verified, the accuracy of the contacts and the emails, and then it draft emails, personalized emails for all of them. I actually been using this a lot. I start reaching out to other companies using this, and it's been very, very helpful so far. It's create like I reached out about to like in the last 2 days for about 40 people, high quality leads. So this is an example of how I asked it. It found companies in New York, gave obviously and draft emails, but then this is just in the Slack. But in the actual routine, it actually put these emails in my drafts so I can review them before I send them. The third example is my executive assistant. I have an assistant that has access to my email, my calendar, my drive, and keep monitoring everything and keep track of its own work. So you can see here that it has access to my email, my drive, my sheets, etc. And then I asked it, for instance, like, is there anything important in my email? Read my email, give me some, and these are all accurate. So I asked about a meeting on next Monday, like how is my calendar doing? It went to my calendar, checked the status. I asked it to make an appointment, asked me clarifying questions, and then it booked a meeting basically for next Monday for me at this time. And After I did all that, I told it like just to summarize all its own work in Google Sheet. I always ask it to just keep a track that what's happening because they run in the background. I just would like to see what's going on. So it's all like in this example, it kept track for its own work, as you can see on the date category, what is the status and all that. So these are actual agents, employees that we're using them as a company. And they've been very, very helpful for us. And we're gonna actually build more for ourselves. This is dog fooding at finest, I guess. Now with that, this is cool. I wanna show you how you can create those for yourself, right? So if you come to Oya AI, now these are just pre-built templates at this stage. You can deploy your SDR. You can come to your SDR. It's pre-configured already. You don't have to do anything. As you can see, it uses Gmail, Apollo, and Slack, and access to Hunter. If you wanted the agent to keep track of its own work, you can enable Google Sheet. So you can say deploy it. So as you can see, it's pre-populated. It gave you the persona, the name, the behavior rules, the tunes, what to do, what not to do, and this is all good. So I'm gonna go next. So this is our skill-based system, right? We build a skill-based system from the ground up, which is also cloud skill compatible. So yes, if you have any cloud skills that you build or you like, you just can import them from here. You can put the GitHub, or you can create your own skill, like native for your company, or you can use one of the skills that we have. And all the skills they're editable, so you can see this the skill file, the Python file associated with it, and the schema. So these are ones are built in, but if you, for instance, this is a cloud-based skill that we imported, so you can come to it. As you can see, this is a license from Antibiotic. This is an open source we just imported. It has the skill, definition of the skill, the examples. Another one which is also an antibiotic skill. It has, like the skill definition, the scripts, all the details, the fonts, the templates, etc. But in this example, we don't need all that. What we need Apollo, Sheets, Hunter, and Instantly. So let's go next. As you can see here where is you need to connect your own, apps to the agent so it can actually do things on your behalf. Everything is one-click experience. So when you come here, you can do add to Slack. So in this case, I'm gonna add it to this guy, allow. So this is an important point. You want to make sure, because the way it works, each agent can work with one channel only, and you can't have multiple agents in the same channel, not to conflict all of them. So what you need to do after you do this, you want to go back to Slack. You want to come here and you want to write invite, add app to this channel, and then you select it. Once you add it, you want to go scroll down and you need to assign this channel for the agent. So you can assign here. So all these are occupied already because as I said, you can only assign one agent per channel. So in this case, just because I have it connected, I'm not gonna connect it one more time. For Gmail, a classic or auth. For Apollo, you just need the API key for Apollo. For Hunter, you need the API key for Hunter. And instantly the same thing. It's a good idea to enable Google Sheet just for the agent to keep track of its own work, so you can see what's going on if you're not on your machine, or if it runs a routine, etc. Now, because I have one built already, I'm gonna just go back to that guy. Since all these resources are connected, now the next step is routines. As you can see here, these are routines. Think again, these are an actual employees, right? When you hire a new person, you want to tell them like at 9 a.m. do this, do that. We have a daily stand-up. So you define their daily routines on what to do. So in this case, the SDR has a daily routine that it will wake up every day at 5 a.m. It will find the leads. It will check against the Google Sheet to make sure that it doesn't find the same lead twice. It will verify the emails with Hunter. It will do the research the company. It will draft a personalized email and put it in your draft. So it doesn't really send emails. It just basically draft them, make them ready for you in your draft. And this is the schedule for the upcoming. Also, every 15 minutes, it goes actually check the mail. Actually, every 1 minute, I'm sorry. So it goes to check the mail to see if there are any responses, right? Because these agents that's running their own. So if somebody of the outreach replied and you didn't pay attention, they actually check your mail, check if the importance, and notify you on Slack if anything happens. And they send you weekly updates on what's going on, how many leads generated, etc., etc. They also have a knowledge base, which means the playbook of what they should do and what they shouldn't do. This is of the basically the policies of how these agents work, right? So this is the email structure, how the email should look like, the follow-ups, like in the day 0 and after 3 days it adds another follow-ups, the 7th day, etc. The lead qualification, how to qualify the lead, etc., and all these kind of things. The ICP template, you can even define what is your ideal ICP, and they will just stick to that ICP based on this profile. That's good. And then you click deploy. Once you click deploy, that's it. It's right now ready to be used from your Slack, or you can, if you want to test it, you can just come to the chat here and say, find me a lead in New York. It has marketing size between 50 and 100. So now, as you can see, we are deterministic and we are a skill-based system. What that means, we don't hallucinate. The LLM is used only for reasoning, but the actual execution, these are Python scripts run on the sandboxes. That's why the outcomes are predictable, right? And that's why this version works very well for our customers, because you can define your rules, you can define your cells, and you make sure that the skills always work the same exact way. So looking at what here, so the LLM resonated, started the sandbox, and then did Apollo search, and ran that on the sandbox as well. Worth to mention, everything runs on isolated sandboxes, even on the single command, right? So that's to make sure that your data is secure. Nobody can access it. Nobody has access to it. And even if you install a skill that has, let's say, bad behavior, you're safe already, because it runs in a remote sandbox that is not even within your account or our infrastructure. Run again, and then did a web search and all that. So it found this lead, and because this is just a test Apollo account, so it looks like I hit my limit here. For debugging, for the devs, I think you might like that. You have a run tree to explain exactly what happened in every single step, right? So you have the input, the output for the LLM. You can see what Apollo, what was the request sent to Apollo, what was the output sent from Apollo, and you can basically debug anything here, right? So this is basically how easy it is to create your own SDR. Same applies for assistant, same applies for DevOps, and I'm gonna put more dedicated videos on the DevOps and the assistant. But there is a lot of cool things that happens behind the scene without you realizing that. For instance, this agent already has a memory, has a brain, right? So it remembers things over time. So let's say my name is Mohammed, and my always find leads in NYC. So now I'm telling it to remember something and store it, right? So this is an information, as you can see here, it already created, saved that as in its own memory. And now I can say find leads. I don't need to repeat this again. It will just remember it, right? And work based on your preference and your learning. And the good news, let's see this in action. Even though I didn't specify anything, it just knew that it has to look for New York. Let's give it a second. Again, this is more of a playground, but the actual usage happens on Slack for most of the customers. So as you can see here, it found it. Now, when you come to the agent, it has an icon here called, it's called brain, really. So these are the rules that it works with. And these are learnings that they come better over time. And these are the preferences, right? So I just didn't do nothing. All what I said, that remember this information, and it kept it for its own. And you can always reset the memory if you want. You want to bring their, like, you want to, if they learn something you don't like or whatever, you can always reset it. So yeah. Now, another important thing that is worth mentioning is all the runs, regardless where they come from, they are tracked, right? So if you come to a run here, as you can see, I chatted with this guy. It gave me the input, the output. You can resume the chat from here. Even if the like if they're coming from gateways, in this example, they are gateways means like Slack, Telegram, Discord, any communication channel really. So in this example, I was chatting with this on my Slack, or maybe this guy has runs. Yep. So as you can see here, you can track it, you can resume it, and it will go back to the where it was, right? So everything is tracked. And also you can, if you're a dev and you just want to use it from your own application, there is a concept called APIs. These APIs, so let's call it run. These APIs are all, you can either use it as a widget, you can put it as a toggle on your website if you want, but most of the devs like to, inject it as a backend. So if you want to use that, the API is OpenAI compatible, right? So all what you have to do really is just to pass the endpoint and your key, and then you're good to go. So in this case, it also remember conversation. So every chat you do with the API, it returns thread ID. If you want to continue the same conversation, you just pass the thread ID. If you want to start a new conversation, you just set thread ID as null. It will start a new conversation. We support obviously TypeScript, Swift, and Kotlin. Now, on the webhook, on the integration part of things, on the integration, when you come to webhooks, you can define a webhook. Let's call it test, and you give it a password. The webhook is basically an endpoint can be triggered from an application. It's publicly accessible, and you can test it directly from here. Lastly, which is I think also devs would appreciate that, is the versioning, right? Basically, connect your GitHub. Once you connect it, you can go back to your agent and you sync it. Once you sync it, now it will create a version of this agent back to your GitHub. It will have its own repo, and let's see what the repo will look like. So if you open the repo, this is basically your agent. It has the ID, the definition, it gives you code snippets, and your credentials, like not credentials. Basically the app connections are already encrypted. So nobody can open them, even us, because they are encrypted with your own password. But it's important that if you want to restore a given version or a given status for a given agent, you can always go back to it. This is the agent definition. Like the ID, the name, the details, the soul, the skills that it worked with. And what the skills definition, again, we built our own skill-based system, but it's Claude compatible, right? So if you have a Claude, you can import your own skills, as I said previously. And it will also show you the skills associated with your agent. So in this case, the Apollo is a skill that we know that we used. This is the skill file for it. And this is the Python script that actually works with the Apollo, etc. And you can see all the rest of the other skills that this agent uses. So this is like an end-to-end experience. All what you have to do is just to deploy or to create an agent in 3 minutes, and everything else is fully managed and a production level service for your agents. So yeah, this is the whole demo. If you have any questions, please let me know.